Lesson 2.2. 3 questions. Warming up. Expressions in English classified under different heads. Pair up with your partner, guess and match the columns. Now, principle means a rule to govern one's behavior. So, one can be matched with edge. Coming to the next one. Quotation. Words cited from a speech or text of a famous person. Moral. A lesson derived from a story or experience. Idioms. Established expressions which do not convey exactly the same as individual words. Now, fifth one. Slogans. Short, striking messages for public. Sixth one. Look at the C1. A short, witty remark stating truth. Now, seventh one. CD. A popular, well-known truth. Then see the last one. Proverb. That is A. A generally accepted, evident truth. Now coming to the next one. Read the polite requests, suggestions and complete the gaps in the responses. Make sure they are polite and not repeated. Could you lend me your dictionary? Accept. Yes, I can. Refuse. I am sorry, I can't. Now see the next one. Can you please pass the salad? Accept. Yes, sure. For the second one you can write. Here you are. Now coming to the next one. May I know the exact time? For accept you can write. It is exactly 10 to 6. For the second one you can write. It is 10 minutes past 5. Now coming to the next one. Shall we plan a class picnic? For agree you can write. Yes, let us plan. For refuse you can write. Not now. I am going to attend my brother's wedding. Now see the next one. Do you need help? For accept you can write. Yes, please. For refuse you can write. It's all right. Thank you. Is it all right if I use your laptop? For accept you can write. Yes, I can spare it for 2 hours. For refuse you can write. Can you wait for some time? I have to complete my work. Coming to the third question. In smaller classes, you would have sung these rhymes. Now you have to fill in the missing words. The time to be happy is dash. Now, right here now. time to be happy is now. The place to be happy is here. And the way to be happy is to make someone happy and have a little heaven right here. Now coming to the lesson. This is a beautiful parable written by the world famous Russian writer Leo Tolstoy. It brings out the importance of time, the people in our lives, our actions, and most of all, the quality of forgiveness. A parable is a short story with a moral lesson. A parable usually has human characters. This parable concerns a king who wants to find the answers to what he considers to be the three most important questions in life. Once, a certain king had an idea. If he always knew the right time to begin everything, if he knew who were the right people to listen to and who to avoid, the most important thing to do, he would never fail in anything that he would undertake, and above all, if he always knew what was the most undertake. Since he was convinced that he was right in thinking this way, he had a proclamation made in his kingdom. He would give a great reward to anyone who would teach him what the right time was for every action, who the most necessary people were, and how he might know the most important thing to do. Many learned people came to the court, but they all gave different answers. In reply to the first question, some said that to know the right time for every action, one must draw up in advance a table of days, months, and years, and must live strictly according to it. Others declared that it was impossible to decide beforehand the right time for every action, but that, not letting oneself be absorbed in idle pastimes, one should always attend to all that was going on and then do that was most essential. Yet others said that it was impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action, and that the king should instead have a council of wise people who would help him to fix the proper time for everything. Equally varied were the answers to the second question. Some said the people the king most needed were his counselors, others the priests, others the doctors, while some said the warriors were the most necessary. Now coming to the questions here. What is the right time according to you? According to me, the right time is the present. What final suggestion did the last group of learned men offer regarding the best time? The last group of learned men said that it was impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action, and that the king should instead have a council of wise people who would help him to fix the proper time for everything. To the third question about what was the most important occupation, some replied that the most important thing in the world was science. Others said it was skill in warfare, and others again that it was religious worship. The king was convinced by none of these answers and gave the reward to none. He decided instead to go to a hermit who was widely renowned for his wisdom. The hermit lived in a small hut in a forest which he never left. He spoke only to common folk. So the king put on simple clothes and approaching the hermit's cell, dismounted his horse and left his bodyguard behind. Hermit is a person living alone as a religious discipline. When the king arrived, the hermit was digging the ground in front of his hut. He greeted the king but went on digging. The hermit was frail and weak, and each time he struck the ground with a spade and turned over a little earth, he breathed heavily. The king went up to him and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I most need? And to whom should I, therefore, pay most attention? And what affairs are the most important and need my first attention? The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. He just spat on his hand and resumed digging. The king watched in silence for a while. Then, feeling sorry for the hermit, he said, You are tired. Let me take the spade and work a while for you. The hermit silently handed over the spade and sat down on the ground. When he had dug 2 beds, the king stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit again gave no answer but rose, stretched out his hand for the spade and said, Now rest a while and let me work a bit. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. 1 hour passed and another. The sun began to sink behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said, I came to you, wise one, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me none, please say so, and I will go home. Here comes someone running, said the hermit. Let us see who it is. The king turned around and saw a bearded man coming running out of the forest. The man held his hands pressed against his stomach, and blood was flowing from under them. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground, moaning feebly. The meaning of moaning is making a long, low sound expressing physical or mental suffering. Feebly means in a way that lacks strength or force. The king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing. There was a large wound in his stomach. The king washed it as well as he could and bandaged it with his handkerchief and a towel the hermit had. But the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandage, soaked with warm blood, and washed and rebandaged the wound. When at last the blood stopped flowing, the man revived and asked for something to drink. The king brought some fresh water and gave it to him. Now coming to the questions. Why did the king go to the hermit in disguise? The hermit spoke only to common people. The king knew this. He did not want to risk the chance that the hermit might not answer his questions. So, he went to the hermit in disguise. Now, coming to the next question. How did the hermit respond to the king's questions? The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. He just spat on his hand and continued digging. Later, when the king felt sorry for him, the hermit handed the king the spade to take over. When the king asked his question again, instead of giving an answer, the hermit rose and stretched out his hand for the spade. In what state was the bearded man when he arrived? The man was wounded. He had a large wound in his stomach. The bleeding would not stop, and the wound had to be bandaged. The bandage was soaked with blood, so the wound had to be re-bandaged. The bearded man was indeed in a very serious condition. Now coming to the lesson. Meanwhile, the sun had set and it had become cool. So the king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut. The man lay there quietly with his eyes closed. By now, the king was so tired after his walk and the work he had done that he lay down himself and also fell asleep. When he awoke in the morning, it took his time to remember where he was and who was the strange bearded man lying by his side and gazing intently at him. Intently means eagerly. Otherwise, very attentively. "Forgive me," said the bearded man in a weak voice, when he saw the king was awake and was looking at him. "I do not know you, and I have nothing to forgive you for," said the king. "You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who sought to revenge himself on you because you executed his brother and seized his property. I knew you had gone alone to see the hermit, and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return. So I came out of my ambush to find you." Ambush means place of hiding before attack. "Your bodyguards recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them, but would have bled to death had you not dressed my wound. I wished to kill you, but you have saved my life. Now if I live, and if you wish it, I will serve you all my life." The king was very glad to have made peace with an enemy so easily and to have gained him for a friend. He not only forgave him, but said he would send his men and his own physician to attend to him. The king then took leave of him and went out of the hut to look for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to beg for an answer to the questions he had asked. The hermit was outside on his knees, sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. In what state was the bearded man when he arrived? The man was wounded. He fainted. He had a large wound in his stomach. This I have already explained to you this question. Now, coming to the next question. Why had the wounded man asked for the king's pardon? The wounded man had resolved to kill the king. In trying to do so, he was wounded and the king saved his life. Hence, the wounded man asked for the king's pardon. Now, coming to the next question. What qualities of the king stand out as he forgave his enemy? As the king forgives his enemy, we see him as a very humble human person. Otherwise, a person who believes in peace and forgiveness, and one who shows mercy to those who would wish to harm him. He was a very humane person. The king approached him and said, "For the last time, I pray you to answer my questions, wise man." "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still crouching on his thin legs and looking up at the king who stood before him. Crouching means bending. "What do you mean?" asked the king. "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and stayed to dig these beds for me, you would have gone back and been killed by that man. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. Afterwards, the most important time was when you were attending to that man, for if you would not have bound his wounds, he would not have died. If you had not bound his wounds, he would not have died without having made peace with you. So, he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. Remember then, there is only one time that is important now. It is the most important time because it is the only time when we have any power. The most necessary person is the one with whom you are, for you do not know whether you will ever have dealings with anyone else. And the most important thing is to do this person good, because for that purpose alone were you sent into this life. Leo Tolstoy. So now, how did the hermit finally point out the answers to the king's questions? The hermit finally pointed out the answers to the king's questions by referring to incidents that the king actually experienced when he visited the hermit. The hermit explained, with the help of each incident, what the most important time was, who the most important person was, and what the most important action was. Now, coming to the English workshop. Read the story and answer whether the following statements are true or false. Now, the people convinced the king to make a proclamation. This is false. The hermit spoke usually to everyone. False. The king received all answers from the hermit. True. The person the king saved and helped was his enemy. True. To do good to people is the purpose of our life. True. Now, coming to the next one. Match the titles with the contents of the proper paragraph. Now, look at the first one. Starting from one says certain king up to important to do. So here it has to match with the king's announcement. So first one is I. Now coming to the second one. Many learned people up to time for everything. It is H. The king received various answers. Now third one. Third one is G. Equally varied up to gave the reward to none. Questions remain unanswered. Now come to this paragraph. When the king arrived, up to my first attention. J. The king meets the hermit. Now, fifth one. The hermit listened up to continue to dig. It is C. King helps the hermit. Now, sixth one. The king turned round up to gave it to him. It is B. Now, see the seventh one. Meanwhile, the sun up to said the king. It is D. The stranger begs for pardon. Now, coming to eighth one. You do not know up to all my life. F. Stranger's vicious intention. Now, ninth one. The king was very glad up to the day before. So it is A. King gains a friend. King gains a friend. Now, see the last one. Do you not see up to sent into this life? The hermit points out answers. So it is E. Now come to the next one. The character traits of the king and hermit are mixed up. Sort them out in the right box. So under king you will write impatient. This one impatient. Eager to succeed. Helpful. Under hermit you will write the remaining. Feeble. Enlightened. Patient. Convincing. Wise. Under hermit. So under king you will be writing only these three. Helpful, impatient, eager to succeed, and the remaining will be written under hermit. That is the character traits of the king and the character traits of the hermit. Now coming to the fourth one. Complete the tree diagrams associated with the happenings in the story. First one, reward winning questions. One is done for you. Who were the most necessary people? Here you can write under one, you can write what was the right time for every action? Under 3 you can write what was the most important thing to do? Now coming to B, different responses to first question. What is done for you? Impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action, so have a council of wise people. Here you can write draw up in advance a table of days, months and years and live strictly by it. Here you can write one should always attend to all that is going on and then do what is most essential. Now coming to the next one. Most necessary people needed by the king. You can write counselors, doctors, warriors. Now, next, most important occupations. You can write science, skill in warfare, religious worship. Now, come to the next one. Write down in your notebook 2 points for each of the following. How do you know? This is in page number 58. How do you know the learned advisors who came to the court confused the king? So you have to write 2 points each. Now, so the first one, A. The answer will be, by giving the king different answers, the learned advisors who came to the court confused the king. None of the answers given by the advisors was complete. From the answers, it is quite clear to me that each one of them dwelt on the path of truth and not the whole truth. Now, how do you know the king was humble? The king did not mind doing ordinary work such as digging. He did not use his authority as a king to force the hermit to answer his questions. Now, coming to the third one, the king's enemy was repentant. The king's enemy told him that since the king had saved his life, if he, that is the king, wished it, he would serve him all his life. Now coming to the next one. How do you know the hermit was truly wise? The hermit somehow knew everything before the king arrived. He must have known about the plan of the king's enemy and so was able to deal with it purposefully when the king arrived. News about the ambush must definitely have come to his ears. Otherwise, he would not have been able to answer the king's questions in such a real and practical way. Now coming to the next one. Choose the correct answer and fill in the blanks. A. Varied means different. Many learned people came to the court and gave different answers. The synonym means meaning. The synonym of convinced is persuaded. The king wanted to know the right time to begin everything. I pray you to answer my question. Here, pray means request. Choose an adverb that collocates with breadth. Breath heavily. Answer the following questions. The learned people were sometimes divided in their opinions, different persons giving quite different answers. At other times, none of them gave an answer. They all suggested ways to look for an answer. Can you point out one example of each? So here you have to point out one example of each also. The learned people were sometimes divided in their opinions, different persons giving quite different answers. At other times, none of them gave an answer. They all suggested ways to look for an answer. Can you point out one example of each? You can write, to know the right time for every action, put a side heading like that and write, draw up in advance a table of days, months and years and live strictly according to it. Now, the next heading can be the people the king most needed. You can write counselors. Then the third one, the most important occupation. You can write science. Now, coming to the second question. Though the hermit did not say anything to the king for some time, he did not ignore the king or treat him rudely in any way. Do you agree? What evidence of his politeness can you point out? What shows that he listened and responded to the king's words? The answer will be, I agree that though the hermit did not say anything to the king for some time, he did not ignore the king or treat him rudely in any way. His politeness is evident by the fact that he greeted the king. By spitting on his hand before he resumed digging, the hermit indicated that the work he was doing was more important and that the king would have to wait. Now coming to the next question. The hermit spoke only to common people, so the king put on simple clothes. Do you think the king hoped to be mistaken for a common man, or was he just showing that he was a humble person? What shows that the hermit knew him to be the king? The answer will be, the king put on simple clothes because he did not want the hermit to refuse to answer his questions. The king was aware that the hermit was wise and would know that he was the king and not mistake him for a common person. The king dressed up like a commoner out of humility and respect. We know that the hermit knew that he was the king by the way he returned the king's greeting. Coming to the next one. Did the king behave as an ordinary person rather than as a ruler at the hermit's hut? What shows it? Did he also act as a good, kind person? When did he do so? The answer will be, the king tended to the wounded man like any other ordinary person. He washed the wound and bandaged it repeatedly. He gave the man water to drink. The king went out of his way to be good and kind to the man. All this happened after the wounded man came running wounded to the hermit's hut. Now coming to the next question. Do you think the hermit knew beforehand not only about the king's arrival but also about the ambush by his enemy? Think a little about this and say what you really feel. The hermit somehow knew everything before the king arrived. He must have known about the plan of the king's enemy and so was able to deal with it purposefully when the king arrived. News about the ambush must definitely have come to his ears. Otherwise, he would not have been able to answer the king's questions in such a real and practical way. He was a hermit, a wise man, and nothing of importance would have escaped his consideration. Now coming to the next one. Consider this list of different things that happen and rearrange them in the order of time, that is, what happened first and what happened next, and so on. Now, read this silently. Now, this sentence will be the first one. The king executed the bearded man's brother. This will be the first one. Now, come to this. A. That will be the second one. The bearded man resolved to kill the king. Then, this will be the third one. The bearded man laid an ambush to kill the king. And this will be the fourth one. The bearded man came out of the ambush. Then this will be the fifth one. The king's bodyguards recognized and wounded the bearded man. Then this will be the sixth one. The king went alone to see the hermit. And this will be the seventh one. The king spent the night at the hermit's hut. Now, this is given for you as homework. Read the story in your own language. Summarize the following aspects of the story in 4 to 5 lines each in your own language. Write it in your notebook. Now, 10th one. The following compound words from the story are spelled in a jumbled order. Rearrange the letters to make them meaningful. See the first one. When you are arranging this properly, you will get the word undertake. You will get the word undertake. U-N-D-E-R-T-A-K-E. Now, see the second one. Anyone. A-N-Y-O-N-E. Now, see the third one. Pastimes. P-A-S-T-I-M-E-S. Fourth one. Bodyguard. B-O-D-Y-G-U-A-R-D. The fifth one. Warfare. W-A-R-F-A-R-E. Sixth one. Beforehand. B-E-F-O-R-E-H-A-N-D. Seventh one. Meanwhile. M-E-A-N-W-H-I-L-E. Eighth one. Everything. E-V-E-R-Y-T-H-I-N-G. Now, from the story, find the collocations of the following. Dash important, most important. Dash intently, gazing intently, G-A-Z-I-N-G. Frail and dash, frail and weak, W-E-A-K. Widely dash, widely renowned, R-E-N-O-W-N-E-D. Dash time, right time. Dash blade, warm blade. Simple dash, simple clothes. Dash closed, eyes closed. Dash asleep, fell asleep. Dash peace, made peace. See question number 11. Say whether the verbs So the spelling of verbs is wrong here. V-E-R-B-S. Say whether the verbs underlined in the sentences are finite. Finite means limited by the number of person of the subject. Limited by the number or person of the subject. Or non-finite. That means not governed by the subject, number or person. Once again I am reading. Say whether the verbs underlined in the sentences are finite, that is limited by the number or person of the subject, or non-finite, not governed by the subject, number or person. Now see the first sentence here and see what is underlined. He decides to go to a hermit. Here decides is finite, to go is non-finite. Decides is finite verb. To go, non-finite. Now come to the second one. I have come to you. Come is underlined over here. It is finite. Now, gave. The third question, he gave the reward to none. Gave is finite. Now, fourth one. The hermit was digging the ground. Was is finite. Digging will be non-finite. Now, here fifth one. Pray is finite. To answer, non-finite. Forgive is finite. Now see the seventh one. The sun began to sing. Began is finite. To sing will be non-finite. Now I'll read the 12th question. Narrate an experience of your own that has helped you to realize that patience is bitter but its fruit is sweet. Write it in your notebook in about 20 lines. Now, see the 13th question. After reading the story, develop a dialogue with two of your classmates. Dialogue means conversation with two of your classmates about the characters in the story. Besides the tactful introduction to the conversation, and write 8 to 10 sets of the dialogues. Now, this is to read from the library and write. From the library or internet, read the story How Much Land Does a Man Need by Leo Tolstoy and write a review of the same covering the following points. In the review, all these points should be there. Background of the story, characters, plot or theme, climax, message or moral.